Hey everybody, this is Phil from Alabama Hot Sauce. That's alabamahotsauce.com on the web. Today I'm in the commercial kitchen and I'm going to show you how to make fire honey. Alabama Hot Sauce Fire Honey is a great product for us. People love it. It's wonderful on fried foods, on chicken, on fried pork chops. It's great on pancakes. It's great on waffles. It's great on eggs. So hang around and I'm going to show you how to make Alabama Hot Sauce Fire. Now, there's a lot of different varieties. I'm going to show you one of the two ways I make it, which is the way you'd most likely make it in your home kitchen. And I think you'll enjoy this. Now, I've got all my things gathered together. As the French chefs would say, I've got my mise en place, my things in place. I've got the tools I'm going to use. Up here on the table, I've got some fresh washed Orange Habanero peppers. They are brand new fresh. Matter of fact, they were picked 4 days ago. I've got some jars I'm going to put my fire honey in when I'm finished. And right here, I've got a pot of honey. I went back in the back. You didn't see me pouring that. I went back in the back and poured it because it's in a large container. And so instead of bringing the large container, I go back to the other room and pour it. But anyway, I've got my honey there. Now, I'm also gloved up. Everything's been cleaned and sanitized. And we're ready to get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the stems and cut these peppers in half. Now, we're actually going to do this in a way that we don't incorporate the actual peppers into the finished liquid honey that we'll put in a jar. What we're going to do is we're going to infuse this pepper heat and this honey using very low heat. We're then going to strain them as we put them in the jars. Like all habaneros, these peppers smell wonderful. I love the smell and the taste of habaneros. Now, in our saucepan over there, I've got about probably 4 pounds, roughly 5 pounds of honey. So that's gonna be enough honey. I'm gonna be able to make 5 or 6 jars with that. My process authority for this, since it is not an acidified food, is considered an acid food because the honey is acid. Because it's not acidified food, I have quite a bit of leeway as to how to make this. So I've got 2 processes. What I'm going to show you is in a little 4-quart saucepan over here, simply because that's the easiest way to demonstrate it to you. But when I actually make this for any kind of mass modeling, I make this stuff in a 40-quart double boiler, okay? Now, I've got the heat turned on simmer on this honey over here. We don't want it to get too hot because heat damages honey. We are going to temporarily get it to 150 degrees because that's the pasteurization temperature for honey. And since we're going to have, even though it's strained, particulate matter in that honey, I want to make sure that we've killed all the yeast that we're going to find in there, okay? Now, I got my habaneros chopped up. I also have here a infrared thermometer. Temperature doesn't have to be exact on this, so I can use this to tell me when our temperature is increasing properly. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these habanero peppers in this honey. I'm going to turn the heat up just a touch, and we're going to start to stir. Now, many people make pepper honey. They put other ingredients in it. They put some vinegar in there. They put spices. It's not unusual to see someone put vanilla in there. It's not unusual to see them put cinnamon. I don't like to do that. I want it to be just honey with the sweet heat essence of these habanero peppers. Now, as we heat these peppers in this honey, the honey's going to get quite a bit thinner, but it will thicken back down as it cools. So I'm going to pour it into jars. It's still going to be warm when I pour it. And when I do that, it'll be pretty liquid. That's a good thing for packaging it, but it will thin right out. We're not subjecting this honey to enough heat to do any damage to it. We went up to the 150-degree pasteurization temperature very, very quickly. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to get it to a temperature where we can actually do the infusing. And we do a lot of stirring. And what you don't want to do when you're making spice honey or hot honey, you don't want to heat it so much that it starts to burn. Honey will caramelize very quickly because it has a lot of sugar in it. We don't want it to caramelize, even though the taste of that is wonderful. That's not the taste we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve the taste of pure honey with a good amount of fire added to it, a good amount of pepper fire, so we can use it to dribble on pork chops, to dribble on fried chicken. And by the way, if you haven't seen that, I have a video which I will link here up at the top and in the end part, which shows me testing fire honey on fried chicken at a local Jack's restaurant. Jack's is famous for great fried chicken, and I want to be famous for Alabama hot sauce fire honey. So anyway, we continue to heat. Occasionally we check the temperature. Honey is very dense, so it takes it a while to heat up. It's a molecularly very thick substance, so it would take naturally longer to heat it up than it takes to heat up, say, water. I'm already starting to smell it a little bit. This is really good stuff here. Now, when you're working in the kitchen, while I wait for this to heat, it's a great idea to keep a bucket of cleaning solution, and I keep a bucket right down here underneath me every time I'm in the kitchen that contains chlorine sanitizing solution that's between 150 and 200 parts per million. And I constantly clean. It's a great idea to do that. Matter of fact, it's a violation of the law in a commercial kitchen not to do it. You're responsible for sanitation. In addition to that, I change my gloves pretty often. I change those because they are so sticky with honey. I love honey, but I can hardly stand to get that sticky feeling on my hands. So you'll see me changing gloves one or more times in the course of this video. Now, gloving up is essential if you're going to come in contact with the food, as I did with putting my hands on the peppers. Sometimes you will see in some of my videos I'll be doing activities that don't involve direct contact, and in those cases I don't necessarily need to glove up unless it's for my protection. Oh, this is just smelling so unbelievably good. Let me get another spoon. Uh-oh. This is my next last spoon. Can't wait for this taste. Whoa. Folks, This is going to be fire honey. Matter of fact, I believe that to be hot enough. So I'm going to turn off the heat. We're going to let this stuff cool off just a little bit. Now, I brag about my Wolfgang pots and pans. One of the things I like about them is they all come with two lids. This is a pouring lid. Every one of my saucepans has one, and they have a flat lid. This is so cool because I don't really have to strain this honey. I can simply pour it in the jars, and the pots come with 4 lips. So there are lips on this honey, on this pot, which allow me to just pour this honey right out. Now, I think I can do this without making a mess. I've got clean, sterilized jars. Let me move out here and give you a little better view of this thing. There we go. I got clean, sterilized jars. This is not going to require any kind of canning operation because honey is somewhat self-preserving. It is acidic. It's going to go in the jars a little bit hot, so there's going to be a little bit of vacuum drawn. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour this honey into these jars. Oh, you gotta love this type of saucepan. Pouring the honey in the jars, this saucepan is absolutely wonderful. I don't know how you make stews and soups at home without pans with these filtering lids, because this is just absolutely great. Now we use 1-piece lids with these things. Now, I'm going to turn them upside down for just a second. The heat in these jars of honey will add a little bit more sterilizing capability to the caps. The lids, even though they were sterilized. I'm going to go get another jar because I'm going to pull out one little special jar of honey. Now, I've got a jar here. And inside this pot, I have these beautiful habanero peppers. Look at this. Now I could actually reuse these peppers. They have not transferred anywhere near all the heat to that honey. But believe it or not, I have a customer that buys this from me. So if I don't use it to make several pots of honey, I sell it to this gentleman just like this. And my question to you is, what do you think happens to this jar as it sits and sits and sits? This jar gets hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. As a matter of fact, I think it gets hotter than actual honey or actual habanero peppers themselves. Maybe I'm wrong there, but there's something that happens to peppers in honey that to me makes them exceptionally hot. And my special customer who loves this stuff, and by the way, he pays a little more than standard hot honey because I'm actually losing revenue from these expensive peppers I could be making from making more hot honey. But anyway, so there we go, folks. This is Alabama hot sauce, hot honey. It's delicious. Everybody ought to have it at home. It's not made out of junk honey that you buy from some plastic squirt bottle in the grocery store. This is made out of genuine, fresh, North Alabama wildfire honey. This is the premium of the premium. You can look at the color and tell that, folks. This is solid, good, dark, pure honey. No sweeteners, nothing added. All we've done here is we've added some capsaicin oil by infusing this honey, these jars, with beautiful habanero peppers. I want to thank you folks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. The next time I produce a batch of this in a larger scale, when I produce my 60 and 80 bottle jar batches, I will try to video that and let you see what this looks like on a somewhat industrial scale to see how this is done. But anyway, folks, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you watching my videos. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, if you would leave a comment and ring that bell. Thank you, folks. We'll see you next time.